Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing In Time. Just finished watching it. Like I said yesterday, this one popped up on Hulu. I enjoyed this one when it came out. You know how we do it. I will be giving you my overall impressions / grade. Once I give the grade, if you've not seen the movie, would like to, you're going to shut off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot synopsis and any character development, and any similar movies or major themes. Trying out my I think I said that I couldn't have a lavalier microphone because it wouldn't hook up to my camera, allowing it in 4K. I think I figured it out, so this is the first one. I'm going to use this microphone. Hopefully it comes out all right. So, In Time was released in 2011. It's rated PG-13. It is a science fiction / action movie. Has a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. You can watch it with a regular subscription to Hulu. It says, in a future where time is money and the wealthy can live forever, Will Salas, played by Justin Timberlake, is a poor man who rarely has more than a day's worth of life on his time clock. When he saves Henry Hamilton, played by Matt Bomer, from time thieves, Will receives the gift of a century. However, such a large transaction attracts the attention of authorities. When Will is falsely accused of murder, he must go on the run, taking the daughter, Amanda Seyfried, of an incredibly wealthy man with him. Had a budget of $40 million, did 174 at the box office, directed by Andrew Niccol. 76% liked it on Google, 37% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. What did I think? I thoroughly enjoyed this one. The writing script itself could be a little tighter, a little more developed in some places, but overall I thought the idea was very novel and very well done when it came out, and I was definitely intrigued just by the environment of people. They literally have just like a time on their arm. Once their time clock doesn't start till they're 25, and they're born with a year. So once they turn 25, they have a year left, and all transaction is done in seconds, minutes, hours, days, years, whatever. And so I thought the idea had some solid novelty to it. I'm a big fan of science fiction, so I'm going to give this one an A-. I thought there was a standout niche or development or novelty to just the time clock on your arm concept. So overall, I recommend this one if you like science fiction. Obviously, people from Rotten Tomatoes didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done with the novelty, and the script could have been a little tighter in some places, but overall, I enjoyed it. No really off-putting characterizations, not much screaming, just an interesting script to explore. So if you've not seen it, I do recommend this one. And regardless, there will be a spoiler alert starting now. So the movie opens up. You get some narration just about the overall economy, just how the world runs, which we just discussed. And Will Salas is living with his mom, Rachel Salas, who is a rather attractive lady. I think that's Olivia Wilde. Yeah. But he's living with her. You know, they're just talking about bills. They're behind on this. They have to pay this rent. They have to pay this. And blah, blah, blah. And so Will works at just like a manufacturing plant. Rachel, I don't know if you really get what she does. But regardless, they're supposed to meet at this bus stop after she pays the mortgage, and they're going to go from there. And so they both wake up. And again, they both have about a day or so left on their clock. And so that's before paying all these different things. And so Will is, he does this thing, clocks out of work, and he's waiting at the bus stop to meet his mom. And that once you turn 25, you stay the same physical appearance. Your body doesn't age anymore at all. So they're all about 25 years old looking. But Rachel pays the mortgage, and then she's going to get on the bus, and she has, it costs like 2 hours instead of 1 hour, and she only has an hour and a half left. And so once your clock hits zero, you just time out and die. And so she can't board the bus, and she has to run. And Will realizes that when the bus comes and his mom didn't come off, that she didn't get on. So he starts running towards her. And so, well, I guess actually before this, Will has a friend, Borel, who is played by Johnny Galecki, one of the main characters from The Big Bang Theory. But they're at this bar, and they meet this guy named Henry Hamilton, who is basically buying drinks for the entire bar. So Henry Hamilton has like 115 years on his clock, and Will's like, dude, you're going to get robbed and killed here for sure with that. You have what's called Minutemen, who is run by just the gangsters that just go around robbing people's time. It is directed, or their gang leader is Fortis, And, Will is like, these guys are going to come in, bust in, and take your stuff. And so Henry doesn't really care. Fortis and his group does come in. And Will is in the bathroom, and he's able to like break Fortis out and like kind of like barricade the door and break into this like abandoned warehouse place and stay the night. And so Will's like, I'm not going to steal your money or your time. And Fortis is like, don't worry, I won't steal yours or either. And Will is like, if I had all that time, I wouldn't waste it. And so in the morning when they wake up, Henry Hamilton, I guess not Fortis, but Will Salas is sleeping, and Henry basically gives him the 115 years. And he's got like 5 minutes left and goes and stands on top of a bridge and just times out and dies. And so Will wakes up and he tries to run to him, but it's too late. And so Will now has 115 years. And so he goes to his friend Burrell, and he gives him 10 years. And Burrell just doesn't know what to do with it and goes right to the bar. And so Will he can take his mom to New Greenwich, which is the higher class, or I think it's like Zone 4. But also, again, the ghetto they're in is called Dayton. Hopefully, it's Dayton, Ohio. But regardless, now is when he's going to meet his mom. So maybe like he has to meet his mom in like a day and a half or something. But now she can't afford the bus, and he's running towards her, and he's got a ton of time now. And she literally dies into his arms. And so she times out right as they're about to meet, and his mother has now passed away. So now Will Salas is going to, he wants to just, kind of YOLO and go to New Greenwich and kind of just mess things up. So he crosses a bunch of time zones, and you have to pay, a week here, a week there, a month there, a year there, or whatever. And so now he gets into this really expensive place, and he stays at a really expensive hotel. And, people with all these times, they don't run. So I just thought the environment or the script was, interesting writing plot. But he runs, and everyone else doesn't really run that well because they've never been in a hurry. So Sylvia Weiss sees Will running around. So it's just kind of like a minor thing. But regardless, he goes to a casino, and he plays poker. And he has to tip pay a year because he's not a member at the casino. And so he plays against Philippe Weiss, who's kind of like the major antagonist or just the big rich dude in the movie. And he ends up winning a big poker hand. He basically goes all in. And so he wins, 1,000 years or something. And now he has a lot more time than even the century he originally got gifted by Henry Hamilton. And so Philippe invites Will to a party at his house the next day. And Will sees Sylvia again. And Philippe's like, because they all look 25, he's like, wondering if that's my mom, my wife, or my daughter. And he's like, it's my daughter. And so the next day, Will buys a really expensive car for like 59 years, and he drives it to this high-class party. And so Sylvia's talking. He talks with Sylvia, and she's like, I've never done anything risk-taking or have anything courageous done in my entire life. And so Will and Sylvia do a little skinny dipping. Again, it's rated PG-13, so nothing too violent or too sexual. But then they go back into the party. Philippe's like, have you seen my daughter? And he's like, yeah, to Will. And he's like, yes, she's with her guards. And so nothing really comes of that. But then right as that's happening, who is Constantine, I believe, is the main, Raymond Leon. I don't even have him up here. But Raymond Leon is the main, they're called timekeepers, but just police officers. And so Raymond, he busts into the party and basically confiscates Will's time. He puts it on just like a solid state disk looking device, and basically leaves him 2 hours for booking and processing at jail. So at which point Will Salas takes a gun and kind of breaks out of there. He takes Sylvia hostage, and they escape in his car. And so Sylvia is taken against her will. She's genuinely not wanting to be with Will, but Will is able to drive and get them and escape and get away. And so now I'm not sure what exactly I'm sure I'm going to mess some scenes up and whatnot. But now you have these timekeepers, and they're basically looking like, we have to find Will. He goes back to I think they go all the way back to Dayton. I'm really blanking on some of the scenes here. But regardless, that's kind of what's going on. They go back into the Dayton area, and now they're basically, he phones in a ransom to Philippe. He's like, if you transfer 1,000 years to the missionary time bank in this zone, then I'll let your daughter go. So the next morning shows up, and Philippe does not transfer the 1,000 years. And so Will is basically like to Sylvia, you can just leave whenever you want. And so Sylvia goes to call her father when Raymond has tracked them. And so before Sylvia is going to call her father, she does kiss Will. So they kind of get a little, Bonnie and Clyde type of deal going. And Raymond pulls up and he's about to, either shoot or arrest Will. And Sylvia shoots Raymond. And so now they're kind of on the same team. They're back on the run. They escape once again. They leave. And now they're going to start their Bonnie and Clyde mission. And so Raymond doesn't die or anything. Again, PG-13, but he's shot in the shoulder and he's just fine. It really has no impact on his ability to move or do his job, I guess. But they decide they're going to start, be the Bonnie and Clyde. So they take a big like armored truck, and they ram it through this time lending thing. The Weisses, are basically, shylocking with time, just charging exorbitant interest rates. And so they steal a bunch of these little, again, the solid state disk looking things, or just like hard drives that have time on them, and let a bunch of the poor people go into the time bank and take them as well. And so that's what happens there. Now they have some time, more time, and they distribute it, but now they are going to, there's a reward on their head, but now they are going to steal 1 million years from Philippe. And so they do that. Philippe has a bunch of people. I guess I'm missing a bunch of scenes, but they crash the car. They get, when they're initially running away, and Fortis steals their time. And so they're back down to a little bit of time. And then that's when they break into the time bank. And now they're going to go steal more time from Philippe. And so Will gets hired in as one of his security guards and takes Philippe at gunpoint. And, Philippe has 12 guards around him at all times. And so Will and Sylvia are able to take the $1 million or the 1 million years. And Philippe is like, this is just my first 1 million years and it won't be my last. And so Sylvia has a strong break with her father, and they go back to Dayton area to distribute the time. Again, the scenes are out of order, but also what happens with Fortis is Will and Sylvia are still staying in the Dayton area after they give away the time, or before they give away the time, and Fortis breaks in with his goons and basically takes Will at gunpoint and is like, we're gonna fight. And basically what they do for fighting is they just like hold their arms together, and it's just kind of like a arm wrestle, but with the loser losing their time. And so you do get some background that Will Solis' father died in a fight, but then you later learn on that he was doing more than just fighting or giving away money. He's giving people hope that they can break down this hierarchical system of timing. And so Will's father's thing was like, he looks at he lets the time run down, and then when the other person starts looking at his arm, he's able to overtake them. And so Will does the same thing, and right as he's about to time out Fortis, the two guards right next to him have guns on him. He pulls a gun out of his shoe, shoots them both, and then times out Fortis. So Fortis dies that way, and now Will and Sylvia are trying to escape once again. So Raymond is back on their trail. They just take off running, basically. And so Raymond sees them running on the street, and Raymond takes him at gunpoint. And you learn at that point that Raymond is from Dayton, and basically he found a way to escape, and now he's making sure nobody else can. So being big bitch to the system. But regardless, Raymond, the timekeepers only get like a day, so they always run low on time as well. And so Raymond loses time of how much he's got left, and he basically just times out of negligence. So Raymond's now dead. Both Will and Sylvia have like less than a minute left. They're trying to run to some place where they can get more time. And they're like, we can't make it. And so they realize that the timekeeper, they have time in their cars. And so Will's able to run up there, get some time on his clock, And then in a very similar scene to when his mother had died, Sylvia is running towards Will, and Will towards Sylvia with more time, and they're able to save Sylvia just in time this time, as opposed to when Rachel died. And so now getting to the resolution of the movie, Will and Sylvia are basically Bonnie and Clyde, and they pull up to a much bigger bank, and Sylvia's like, I told you there's bigger banks. So that is really the resolution to the movie. And once they distribute the first 1,000,000 years, the kind of this hierarchical system starts to break down, and people are able to cross into different time zones. And so that's really the resolution to the movie. Overall, I just thought it was a very novel concept. Writing could have been a little stronger in some places. No off-putting characterization in terms of screaming or just real insecurity. And I thought it was a cool environment to explore. So overall, A-. I did enjoy this one. And tomorrow will be this breaking down Pursuit of Happiness. So hopefully my microphone worked this time. Maybe gives you guys a little better audio for my 1 or 2 viewers that watch for like 30 seconds. Really got to improve the setup. But overall, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.